Hello and welcome back to another discussion. Today we will be discussing simultaneous equations. Well, simultaneous equations are extremely simple because all we have in these is two sets of equations. So I will be using, let me use an example here, 5x plus 2y equals to 25, 2x minus y equals to 1. Okay, so here we have a system of equations, which is what they're called. So these system of equations can very easily be solved if we try to, because we know that the x here will equal to the x here, and then the y here will equal to the y here. So it's simple for us to solve by using this method called substitution. Okay, so we're going to be using this method. There is another method that we will go over, but I will mainly be using the substitution method. Okay, so first of all, you can use your calculator to solve for this, so that is just a heads up. Okay, so to solve this equation, all we need to do, our step one is, oops, okay, so well, you can choose any variable. First of all, choose any variable, x or y. I will choose y here, so I will say, step one is write y. Okay, so write y in terms of x. So in one of the equations, just choose a variable and write that variable in terms of the other variable. Okay, so in this equation, I want to use this one because I can see that this has no other coefficient here, so I can just simply exclude it and it will not give me any other problems. So let's do that here. So let's say I want to take 2x. I want to take uh, minus y to the other side, and that will give me 2x equals to 1 plus y, and I'll take the 1 inside here, 2x minus 1, which gives me y. So this is our equation 1. Now I want to, let's call this equation number 2, because I will put this equation into this equation, and you will see how. So we know that y is equals to all of this, so why not I put all of that into this second equation? So 5x plus 2 multiplied by 2x minus 1, which is equals to 25. Okay, so this is also very correct. By the way, we used to have y here, and we've replaced it in terms of x, just so we can solve this. So 5x plus 4x minus 2 is equals to 25. This gives us 9x, and the 2 can go to the other side and add on to the 25, which gives us 27. Now we can divide on both sides by 9, and we can get x is equals to 3. Okay, since x is equals to 3, what is y equals to? Well, we know that since x is equals to 3 here, we can just substitute 3 into this equation and say 2 times 3 minus 1 is equals to y, which is 5 is equals to y. So we can write it out. X is equals to 3, y is equals to 5. So this is our answer to both of the equations. Now you can use your calculator to check. You can also put your x and y values here and here to get your, to make sure that these are actually correct values. If they're not, then you have to check your work. Now let's use this method called elimination. Okay, so this is called the elimination method. So all you have to do is simply try to eliminate one of the variables by using a multiple. So here we're going to add these equations, both of them, but we need to somehow multiply, we need to do something to one of these equations so that the y's cancel out or the x's cancel out. So I know in this equation that if I multiply the bottom equation, right, with 2, so if I multiply this by 2, I will end up with this equation, 2x minus 2y equals to 1. And I know that if you add 2y plus minus 2y, that will give me 0. So these will cancel out. So that's a good sign. So now let's do this again. Right, so let's say we've multiplied the second equation by 2, and now let's add these equations. Okay, so, oh, by the way, this will be 4. Not. This will be 4 and this will be 2. Everything multiplies. Sorry about that. So we have 4x minus 2y equals to 2. So now when we add these will cancel out and we will get 9x equals to 27. So now we can divide on both sides. We get x is equals to 3. There it is. And then we can do the same thing. We can find y by using the first equation. Either the first or the second, they both give you the same answer. So 5 times 3 plus 2y equals to 25. This is 15 plus 2y equals to 25. So I know that when this goes to the other side, this becomes 25 minus 15. 25 minus 15 is 10. And over 2 over 2, y is equals to 5. So this confirms that both methods are valid. They both work. And you can choose any of the methods. I prefer substitution, so I will be using that. So here's an example. You will get a bit of text written and then you will have to extract out the information. So it says, let's use this. 2x plus 2y equals to 7, then x squared plus, no, it's minus, equals to 8. Okay. Now, this looks very complicated. However, it's not if you know what to do. So all we have to do here is use the same method of substitution that I'm going to use, and we're going to substitute one variable in terms of the other in equation number 2. So we're going to use equation number 1, equation number 2. So from equation number 1, let's form an equation. So I'm going to eliminate x. Okay, so 2x is equals to 7 minus 2y. Then over 2, this cancels out. So x is equals to 7 minus 2y all over 2. Okay, now we can just put x all the way here. This makes it easier for us. So 7 minus 2y all over 2. Brackets everything, minus 4y squared equals to 8. Okay, 49 minus, I'm going to quickly do this. You don't have to, you can just come on the side, minus 2y, and minus 2, you can solve it like this, but I know a shortcut that I will tell you later on, which we will be using, so I'm going to quickly do that. Okay, so this is how it is. And the next thing I would like to do is get rid of the fractions, because the fraction doesn't ever help us here. So all I will do is I will multiply everything this side by 4, and I will multiply this side by 4. So this will cancel out, but this 4 will also multiply this 4 minus 4. So I will get 49 minus 28y plus 4y squared minus 16y squared equals to 32, I hope. So now this gives me 4 minus 16 is minus 12. Minus 12y squared. Oops. I will write it down. Minus 12y squared minus 28y and 49. Okay. I should bring, okay, yeah, 49 equals to 32. Now, what I can do next is I can take everything from this hand side all the way here. So I will do that just so I can have most of my terms as positive, and that always helps. So 12y plus 28y, and then we have 32 minus 49, which is minus 17, and I hope I've done this correctly. uh, hmm, yes, it looks like it. So now we can factor it out. So to factor out, I will have 6y plus 17. I will have 2y minus 1, which is also equals to 0. You will learn how to factor quadratics later on, but you can use your calculator for this. So it is, you go to mode, so mode, equation, then you click on the one that says ax squared plus bx squared, oh bx, sorry, plus c equals to 0, and then you enter in your values. Okay, so here I know y is now equals to either minus 17 over 6 or y is equals to 1 over 2. So that means I need to find two x values for to satisfy this equation. Okay, all right. So let's do that. Hold on. Let me look for okay. 7 minus 2y all over 2. 7 minus 2y all over 2 is equals to x. So I'm going to quickly just use my calculator here and get okay, this gives me, okay, so when x is equals to minus 17 over 6, I mean, okay, y is equals to minus 17 over 6, x is equals to 19 over 3. Okay, let me just recheck that. Okay, yeah, and then when y is equals to 1 over 2, x is equals to 3. Okay, there it is. So this is the answer to the system of equations. This is how you solve one linear, one nonlinear equation. This is probably the hardest it gets, and I think what you need to do is be very careful, because I think only substitution method works here. The elimination method does not work here, or as far as I know, the elimination method does not work here. So you need to be careful here, and make sure that you put in the values that you found, the x values, so these two values, and then make sure you use these two values to make sure your answer is correct. How to quickly expand, so let me show you. Quick expansions. Okay, expansion. It's a quick expansion trick. So if you have a plus b all squared, by the way, this only works for when you have a square and you have two terms in here. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is write a squared, and then the second thing you have to do is write, well, take this, so b times a times 2 ab, then plus b squared. This is how it's always going to be. So we can use let me just use 2x plus 1 squared. So to do this, I know that it's going to have 2x squared will be squared, which will give me 4x squared. And I know that the second thing is 1 times 2x times 2. So 1 times 2x is 2x, times 2 is plus 4x. And then 1 squared is just 1. Okay, let's try another one. Let's say 3y plus x. Okay, so here we get 3y's. So 3y's, if you square all of this, you simply get 9y squared. And then x times 3y times 2, which will be 6xy. Okay, and then x squared is just x squared. There it is. Okay, so you should try out some of these, and just try these out, see how you like them, and that is mostly what simultaneous equations are. Okay, so before we go, here is one more. I'm going to attempt one more just so you can try them out by yourself. I will do number 22 for you, and then we'll see how you can do the rest. So what you have to do is just make sure you try 23 and 24. Just make sure just see how it is, because this is usually how questions are. So I would say these are kind of how exam questions are like. But let's try 22 and let's see where we get to. So the line y equals 2 minus 2x cuts the curve 3x squared minus y squared equals to 3 at the points A and B. Find the length of the line AB. Okay, so just for a quick sketch, let's say that this is our axis, and it doesn't matter what the curve is. Let's say the curve is like this, and our line is like this. So this is point A, this is point B. Now keep in mind, this is probably not how the curve looks like, because this is just a rough drawing. So I need to know what A is and B is so that I can find the length of this line, basically. Okay, so this is what our plan is. Our plan is to find A and B and then find the length. Alright, so to find A and B, I need to find the coordinates of A and B, and I have to use these equations that I've been given. So let's begin. They've already given us what y is equals to, so all we have to do is say 3x squared minus 2 minus 2x squared equals to 3. Okay, now by the way, why did I do that? Because y is already equals to this, so I can just put it here. Okay, alright, now let's use the technique that we just learned. This is an x. Okay, so we know that this is going to be 4, and minus 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 times 2 is 4, minus 4 by the way, minus 4 times 2 is minus 8, and don't forget the x, then plus 4x squared equals to 3. Okay, 2 squared, do it, minus 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2 is 8, yes, just making sure that I did it right. Now, the next thing is multiplying through with the minus, because we don't want to get that wrong. Yep, minus. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is we can simplify further. So 3x squared minus 4x squared is minus x squared plus 8x, and we can bring 3 inside, which makes it minus 7 equals to 0. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this minus. I don't like it because I usually don't like this, so I'm just going to try and get rid of it. By how do I do that? I'm just going to divide on both sides by minus 1. Okay, so what this does is it removes, it flips everybody's sign over, and I'm okay with that. And since it's 0, the sign doesn't really matter. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is I have to factor this out. So let's do that. Okay, so this will be, I've used my calculator here. Okay. Yep, this makes sense. It works. Okay, so x is now equals to 7, and x is also equals to 1. So these are our two coordinates. Okay, and then the y value would be, if we just used this equation, y 2 minus 2x. Remember, y is equals to 2 minus 2x. So now let's put x equals to 7 here. So y is equals to 2 minus 2 times 7. That will give us 2 minus 2 times 7 minus 12. Minus 12. So for a, this could be a. Doesn't really matter if it's a or not. But a could be 7 minus 12. Okay, now let's look for b. So x is equals to 1 here. So y is equals to 2 minus 2 times 1. And that is 0. So b can now be 1, 0. Doesn't really matter which one is a, which one's b, as long as you get the answer right. Okay, that's fine. That's great for us. Okay, the next thing is, this is basically half of the equation, half of the question, I mean. The second half is finding the length of AB. So AB, this is actually, yeah. So the equation of finding distance is y2 minus y1 squared plus x2 minus x1 squared, and then okay, square root. So let's quickly do that. So we have, let's do 0 minus 12 squared. Let me just go down the line. 0 minus 12 squared plus 1 minus 7 squared, and square root of that. You have 6 square root 5. Okay, and approximately this will give us 13.42 units. Units. I think that's all for today. Next time we meet will be about quadratic equations and everything about quadratics, the curves, the graphs, and everything in between.